Hey guys, how's it going? It's Al. Monday Night Showdown for Week 12, a game between the Baltimore Ravens and the Los Angeles Rams. Very exciting Monday night game. I'm really excited for this. I'm really excited to just watch this game, let alone get after a fantasy slate for it. We've got the highest price for a player that we've ever seen before at captain with Lamar Jackson on this one. Can you fit him? We're going to try and find a way because he projects to be the highest scoring player on this slate by a pretty large margin. That doesn't mean that he's always going to end up being that highest price player, but he definitely has the highest floor of anybody that we have at his position. We know that most often quarterbacks don't win captain spot in a single game showdown in a tournament. If you're playing cash games or 50-50s, you're definitely plugging him into that spot. If you're playing tournaments, there's different things that you can do. As I always say, we have rules in this game that we try to stick to with correlation, with matchups, with different things that we try to look to do. But when it comes to tournaments, you can break all those rules as long as you have a rationale to do it. When it comes to single game showdown, the smaller the slate, the more you can break those rules. And this is one where I think we're going to have to get into that. So first of all, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you guys coming back video after video, week after week, day after day. If you would be so kind, please drop a like on this one. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, and make sure that you ring that notifications bell, because if you're new, I come out with an awful lot of content. It's really nice to meet you, and I'd love to see you back and would hate to see you miss any of the content that I put out, especially on a short week like week 13, which is coming up right around the corner with the Thanksgiving slate and everything else. I'm going to be shoving a lot of content into a very small space this week. I don't want you to miss any of it. So hopefully you guys will show up again. Also, I stream most weeks. I mean, not Thanksgiving week. I'm not going to stream 6 days. I'm going to spend some time with family and take a couple days off. Hopefully you guys have yourselves a great Thanksgiving too. But usually I stream 6 days a week. So come join us on Twitch. There's a link down below in the description. Go follow over there, and I'm live. Like I said, in the morning for me, I'm in Los Angeles 6 days out of the week, and there's a schedule for you on that Twitch page that you can find the streams. If you want to use the projections that I use, the projections that I use are over at dailyroto.com. They also have a great optimizer that has different things that you can do for showdown slates. Works great for showdown if you're using a lineup builder to build 3 or 20 or 50 or 100 or 150 lineups. For full slates as well. They do a great job on NFL, NBA. They also have college football. I was going to say CFB. They also have college football, NHL, and golf. Great projections, great use of their optimizer for all of those sports. And I've done a bunch of videos as well. A link will pop up here on a little card for you guys to click. If you want to check out the How to Win on DraftKings playlist that we have here, so that you can learn how to do the different things in the different sports that you want to play. Most people come to me with questions and ask me, well, how do I use that optimizer Daily Roto? There's videos for you. They're right on that playlist. Go check them out. There's I think there's 12 or 15 videos, over 5 hours worth of stuff to help you learn and get acclimated into doing all those different things. So find the video that's right for you and go check it out. Let's take a look at the slate. Lamar Jackson, first and foremost, well-deserved that he's at the 13.6K and 20K at captain. I'm going to have captain shares of Lamar Jackson in this one throughout my allocations, throughout my lineups. But there are a lot of paths that this game can take that there will be a better captain than Lamar Jackson. Now in cash, I think that Lamar Jackson's the right one. If you're playing head-to-heads, 50-50s, double-ups, 3-man games, whatever, I think Lamar Jackson is probably the right play at captain if we have enough value to make him fit. He has the highest floor. He also has a ridiculously high ceiling for a quarterback, 30 to 40 point ceiling for a quarterback, which is pretty rare for quarterbacks to get to. 30 points is an awful lot of points for a quarterback. He's averaging 28.7. And we've seen multiple games of 30 to 40, 32 against Houston, 33 against Cincinnati. The first time, 33 against Cincinnati. The second time, 33.8 against Arizona, 36.5 in week 1. So Lamar Jackson can definitely do it with his arms and his legs. The legs give him a great floor and a possible ceiling if he can get into the end zone on the ground. But all that action with his legs opens up a ridiculous amount of efficiency for him through the air. 3 touchdowns on 17 throws against Cincy, 4 touchdowns on 24 throws 5 touchdowns on 20 throws. That's where you really get the ceiling games out of Lamar Jackson. Yes, he can also do it with his legs with 152 yards and 1 on the ground when he threw for no touchdowns here and had a 33-point game. But those games are going to be tougher to find than the ones where the linebackers and safeties get held and he goes over the top to somebody like BOYKIN or goes over the top to Hollywood Brown or finds his tight ends, which he utilizes a lot. Even though somebody like Mark Andrews has not run as many routes because obviously they're not dropping back a ton of times as a lot of the other tight ends out there. And when he's on the field and his quarterback's dropping back, he's only running routes on about 50% of those dropbacks, but he's being targeted on a ridiculously high amount of those routes that he runs. So if he's out in the pattern, he is the, I would assume, primary target on that route as they're setting things up differently in the way that they're running this offense. I love the way that Baltimore's running their offense. They've tailor-made it towards having Lamar Jackson and RG3 behind him, that this is the way that they're going. They've sold out 100%. They're all in on this, and it's really paid off for them. Happy for that. It's something I've been waiting for teams to do. We'll see if it works out. If you want to go contrarian at captain, you're going to play somebody like Mark Ingram. And I say contrarian because there's a lot of paths to failure if you're playing Mark Ingram at your captain spot, because of the fact that he's the leverage play against Lamar Jackson if he scores multiple touchdowns. Because aside from this game against Houston, he's not really catching for touchdowns. His touchdowns come in bunches and they come on the ground. 2 against Miami, 3 against Kansas City. We saw 2 through the air against Houston, 10 on the season. A lot of opportunity inside the red zone and inside the 5-yard line. But it's the touch count that troubles me, right? 13, 9, 15 carries, 12. Not consistent usage in the passing game. 3 targets, 1, 2, 2, 1. It does not have a 20 carry game yet this year, something that I did not see coming before the season. I was definitely wrong about that. I thought that they would probably limit Lamar Jackson to 10 to 12 carries a week and have Mark Ingram carry it about 20 times, have the guys behind him carry it 10, and have Lamar carry it 10, totaling out to about 40 rushes on the season. They've run things a little bit differently, played a little bit slower. And it's worked for them. So they're not going to change the winning recipe. Mark Ingram can pay off in captain if he has one of those games where he gets the inside the 5 carries. But I don't think that he's a very good captain play this week. I really don't think that he's a great flex play because of the PPR nature of the game. Now I'm going to have shares of him, but I would not be mad to be well under the field on Mark Ingram. Now, if you think that I'm wrong on that, I'm all for people disagreeing with me, and disagree with me by just playing the other side. There's nothing that I say that's always 100% right. Nobody has a crystal ball that they can look into the future with 100% accuracy. So there's going to be things that I get right and there's going to be things that I get wrong. What I can predict is that Mark Ingram has a specific role in this offense. We know what that role is. He is very touchdown dependent to have a ceiling game, which is to say that he's not going to be ever utilized like a Christian McCaffrey, a Le'Veon Bell. He's more like Marlon Mack or a Derrick Henry, but in a better offense, a higher scoring offense, but with half the touches, right? With 12 to 15 touches as opposed to 22 to 30 touches a game. So when you get that sort of a workload for a player, you have to accept that there's going to be a little bit more variance and a lot more touchdown dependency. So for me, Mark Ingram is a bit of a fade at this price because I'm just not interested in getting there. Cooper KUPP has had an up and down season to say the least. The last few weeks have been very iffy. 3 targets, 4 targets against Pittsburgh. Two defenses that can put a lot of pressure on the Rams quarterback because their offensive line is not producing up to what it used to. Cincinnati does not provide a lot of pressure, so obviously had a big game against them. Atlanta does not provide a lot of pressure, did not have a big game there. San Francisco didn't. This stretch was phenomenal, and this is what we're used to out of Cooper KUPP in this offense. Now, if they can get back to doing this down the stretch, we'll see. Baltimore has a very good defensive secondary and a very good defense. If they can stay close in this game, and I mean close like attackably close, right? If they're trailing by 5 or 6, which is about what the spread is on this game, if they can keep it around that number, you're going to see an awful lot of volume head towards Cooper KUPP because they're a little bit stronger towards the outside. Having Brandon Cooks miss a bunch of games, I believe, has hurt Cooper KUPP a ton. or at least the way it's hurt the Rams offense a ton, because Jared Goff has not been as good as he was last year. This is just not the same guy. All the people that say it's a system guy, they're back. They've peeked their head out again like little meerkats out of a hole, hoping to just, you know, get after Jared Goff. We've seen in the past that he's got some home road splits. He's not showing them this year, which is why I don't tend to lean on home road splits for quarterbacks except for the most extreme situations. So everybody says, well, I can trust Goff at home, but I can't trust him on the road. He's essentially been the exact same fantasy quarterback for us, both at home and on the road. He just hasn't been spectacular with only 11 touchdowns through the first 11 games of this season. So we've got a situation now. Are we going to see this Jared Goff from the last 2 weeks when he played Chicago and Pittsburgh? Or are we going to see the Jared Goff that we saw before, which is a 20 to 25 point guy? I think that if we're going to plug Jared Goff in at quarterback, obviously we have to play all of his wide receivers. I'm not going to include Gurley in that. He has seen better volume recently. He is not the same running back that he used to be, but there is some touchdowns there that we can go after. We're going to play Woods. Hopefully, if Cooks is back on Monday night as he is supposed to be, he's back in full after this concussion and missing this game. We're going to have him in that group. We're going to have Cooper Kupp in that group. We're going to have as many of these guys as we can possibly get in this Jared Goff group, because we want to have at least 2 of them. And I'm probably going to throw the tight ends in there as well, at least the tight end in there as well, and build a bring back group with the entirety, a separate bring back group with the entirety of the Baltimore offense, including him, including Ingram, including Andrews, who I have not spoken about yet, who, as I said, I spoke about him a little bit. He's not running a ton of routes, but he's been outstanding on the routes that he's run because of his ridiculous touchdown efficiency based on the way that they're running this offense. So Mark Andrews in play for me just because of touchdown upside, and very much in play at captain as well because of that touchdown upside. Now, as I was saying, we can break the rules in the single game showdown. We can break the rules in GPPs. The way that I want to break the rules on this one is I talked about the Cooper Kupp group, right? So I always want to build that group, and I want to build the bring back group because of all the guys that he plays with. Lamar Jackson at captain presents a different situation for us because he doesn't throw the ball a ton, because he has the ability to run and score touchdowns with his legs, and doesn't depend on big days from his pass catchers. If he's going to have a big day, it doesn't always necessarily mean that multiple pass catchers are going to have a big day as well. So we're going to build that same group. We're going to build it with Mark Andrews, going to build it with Marquise Brown. I'm going to include cheaper options as well. Guys like Boyle, guys like Snead. I'm going to include Boykin in that group. I'm going to include Hurst in that group as well, even though it does not fit on this list. He would be in that group as well. Typically, I'm going to force 2 to 3 of these players with a quarterback. I'm going to probably say at least 1 on my Lamar Jackson at captain group, because I'm going to focus more on the bring back group. Lamar Jackson can have a big day, and maybe 1, if not 2 of his players has a good day that are stud players that we really are going to be the ones that we plug in here. I'm more interested in getting something out of the lower guys, the lower price guys that are going to be paired with him. So the tight ends, guys like Hayden Hurst, right? This is not an expensive play. We don't need all that much from him at 800 in the flex to be able to make some money here. If he gets those 2 catches for 20 yards, if one of them happens to break for a touchdown, you've got a massive profit on that 800 salary. But I don't want to have them be in every lineup with Lamar Jackson. I think that he's a very good value play on this slate. There's a couple of other guys that are cheap that are paired with him that I think are also fine. Like I said, the tight ends for the Rams, like Tyler Higbee, guys like Everett, are also cheap. Somebody like Miles Boykin, who has not seen very consistent targets, definitely not consistent targets of late. He was the thing kind of early in the season, definitely in preseason. Probably not going to be using him as much, or I'm going to be limiting him. Seth Roberts, one of my favorites to kind of meme around with, but again, somebody I don't think has got a great chance outside of maybe catching a touchdown. You see how focused this offense is with the receivers, and that's why I'm not going to force at least 2 like I usually do with my quarterback stack, because typically this offense runs around a couple of things. It runs around him and it runs around him. These are the two players that have the most big play potential, but because of the fact that they limit to 17 to 25 dropbacks per game, there's not as much volume upside. You need touchdowns from these guys. So I'm going to be building my groups a little bit differently around Baltimore and breaking the rules that I typically have. I will also be including, because of need, Justin Tucker in that Lamar Jackson group. We've seen enough out of Tucker to know that he is one of the most consistent kickers in the league, has a big leg. If he kicks those 50-yarders, that gives us a bonus as well. And we're going to need the savings with one of those cheap players and or the kicker, and the bring back group with cheap players from the Rams. I mentioned the tight ends, their kicker as well, to fit Lamar Jackson. Now, because of the expensive plays in this game that I really want to get after, I'm probably going to build separate groups for my kicker and my defense. I'm probably going to allow a max of one defense in any lineup. I will probably allow both kickers to be in a lineup, just in lineups with Lamar Jackson in them, to try and capitalize on the upside there, because I'm going to have to build things a little bit differently for this particular showdown just because of the way that the game lines up. Thank you guys for joining once again. We're hitting Thanksgiving week. We're on the home stretch of the season. This is the final video for week 12. We'll be hitting week 13 with a first look for the Thanksgiving slate, a recap video for the week 12 slate, as well as a first look for the main slate on week 13. I hope you guys have yourselves some good luck on Monday night. And if you don't catch some of these videos, I hope I will see you here for the Thanksgiving videos. But if you're not happen to be there, if you don't happen to be there because you're on vacation, have yourselves a happy and a safe Thanksgiving with your family and friends. Till the next video, though, I'll catch you guys later. Bye.
He's a legend.